Welcome back, babes. This is part 2 of my video on how do establishment scum manipulate prices down. In my first video, we went through like CME and how the market makers work and what they do when they get filled on bids, alright? So, we'll just go through. Remember, government guy comes up to me. He says, you got to do this for us. And remember, Bitcoin has liquidity. It has finite bids and offers. And our market maker of scum is going to be Citadel. And then we have the ladders here. Remember, Binance is a good actor. CME is a bad actor. But you got to understand, this is one thing I wanted to add in my last video, right? This is part 2. So we understand all this. But in my example here, CME is futures. Yeah? This CME is futures. It's not real Bitcoin. When someone hits it down on CME, the price goes down, and then Citadel gets filled, they go to Binance, and then they hit it down as well to match. Eventually, you run out of Bitcoin to sell. Because let's say Citadel has, I'm going to write this down for you. Let's say, where are we? Here we go. Let's say Citadel has, let's say 10,000 BTC on inventory. Okay, 10,000 spot BTC on inventory. Let's get this Citadel scum picture right here. Yeah. So Citadel, remember, they've got accounts everywhere. So Citadel get filled. So firstly, Citadel probably, someone attacks it down, you know, quote unquote, someone, we know who it is, establishment scum attack it down. Citadel gets filled. Then they go to Binance and they got to sell their Bitcoin. But remember, Binance is a good actor. To sell BTC, you actually need to own it first to sell it. So eventually Citadel, it's 10,000 BTC, it's 10,000 BTC, goes down to like 1,000, then 0, then 0. Then, if Citadel has 0 BTC, you think, oh, we beat the bad guys, yay! Unfortunately, we live in a fiat world. What happens is Citadel have inventory replenishment. So what they do is they can get a private line from JP Morgan or in the Fed, the scum, and what they'll do is they'll say, okay, let's go source Bitcoin out there. So I don't know if you know this, but Genesis, the guys in heat now, they were one of the worst actors of this. They were providing Bitcoin for this. Did they know? Probably they knew. Everyone knows, man. People talk, right? So Genesis were one of the go-to guys where evil actors would go to Genesis and then borrow like 20,000 BTC off them. And then, and in exchange, give fiat dollars, money, right? Their strategy, sell BTC on the spot markets. So this is where it gets deeper and darker. And you know what? There will be a background that is deeper and darker red to signify this. This is where it gets deeper and darker. The CME strategy can only go so far. What happens if you're running out of Bitcoin? Like you need to actually really attack the market. Because when you run out of Bitcoin, what's happened? That means more people have been buying it and gobbling it over time. So that's what they do. Citadel will go to a trading desk like Genesis, you know, and they'll say, hey, give us 100,000 Bitcoin. And think about it, friends. These guys talk, there's insiders, and they say, oh, we can't give you this Bitcoin. Like, that's the biggest amount we've ever loaned out. Like, what if you don't give it back? And Citadel goes, they don't tell them this, but they go, let's just say we've got more than all the money you could ever dream of. Are you getting it? Wink, wink. They have, obviously, like, they have a line from JP Morgan and the Fed. They have a line, man. They have cash. They have different instruments that they do to get the sources into Citadel. Citadel gives them the money to Genesis, and Genesis have handed over 100,000 Bitcoin, and they've received fiat because everybody's got a price. Remember, they print the US dollars out of thin air. They print US dollars. They probably make their own money, man. They literally make their own currency. That's why there's no proof of work here. There's no transparent system. Me and you can't check it. Where can you go check that? There's no blockchain to go check it. There's no transparency. So they give him the money, and now you have, unfortunately, you have now armed the evil actor, Citadel, with fresh 100,000 Bitcoin to sell. Remember what they started with. They started with 10,000 and they ran out to zero because the demand was there. So then they go, all right, let's turn it up. And this is unfortunately what happens. As then they'll go for the double whammy, you know. They manipulate CME down. They hit. Remember, they have all the US dollars. They have an infinitely large account on CME. They manipulate CME down. CME goes down. Bitcoin could be $2,000 for all they want. And then you think, but who could possibly be selling Bitcoin all the way on the spot exchange at Binance? But now you know, it's the same guy selling, man. It's the same guy selling. The same guy who wants to force it down. He owns 100,000 Bitcoin. He's going to Binance now, and he's actually selling on the spot market. And he's attacking it. 10,000 at a time. 10,000 at a time. Through each level. Crack. Their goal is to source every single legit Bitcoin they can get. Every single legit Bitcoin they can get. That's their goal. Borrow it from everywhere. Effectively, what they're doing is they're bribing you with the old financial system. So that's when you look at a philosophy standpoint, that's all they're doing. They're going, look, man, I know you're trying to take down our system, but what if I make you an offer you can't refuse? You know, what if I make you like really, really rich? You can reign free in that system. That's why we only win if everyone works together. People who sell, that's why we call them fuckwits. That's why they're losers. That's because they're leaving back to the old system, right? People say, oh no, you can sell and do this, but now you know why. That's why the religious cult aspect of Bitcoin is like this. That's why people in crypto as well, we don't like it when people go back to the traditional fiat system, because you're just going back to the whole reason that you're poor in the first place. This is why. There will be defectors. SBF was an obvious defector. Now you know why SBF was a piece of shit. SBF was effectively what he did was, he came in our system and he's like, hey, I'm going to help you guys. I'm going to help you guys do everything you want. Of course, he was going to help them manipulate it down. Of course he was. We could see it. That's why I lost all hope, man. I was like, oh man, this guy's going to take over. But the fact that we actually killed him, I mean, I'm surprised. So now you understand, man. Gary Gensler, the people at the SEC are good, honest, hardworking people, all right? The people in the SEC, they're just like policemen and policewomen, all right? But Gary Gensler, obviously, it's like doesn't take a genius to figure this out. He's in cahoots with JP Morgan, the bankish establishment scum. He is their puppet. Gary Gensler is their puppet. And their job is to stall Bitcoin. Stall it. Because the last thing they want is a supply shock on Bitcoin. Because that's basically telling the world, shit, alternative money is leaving the US system leaving the traditional fiat system to an alternative money system. Gary Gensler has a very, very, very bad public image for this. That's why they don't want to do Bitcoin spot ETF. Because the Bitcoin spot ETF just keeps gobbling up Bitcoin and it never sells it. It never sells it. The Bitcoin spot ETF, if it's done, right, would be infinite bid for Bitcoin. Because all the Bitcoin that goes in, it's not allowed to come out. So basically the government is signing themselves up to a permanent infinite manipulation strategy that they have to do, which they can do it and they will do it. They have strategies for gold, but it's kind of like you're shooting yourself in the foot. It's like, oh man, now we got to set up like a full system to manipulate Bitcoin over time using this spot ETF. And now you can see why CME have the Bitcoin futures ETF, because it's paper. So this is how the system works. The system is they're going to keep doing this. And of course you're going to do this. If you, the government actor, and you hired me, this is exactly what I would do. So this is not like make-believe. I would do this if I had to defend the system. Let's just hope we're early enough that maybe Bitcoin and Ethereum and all our moonbag prices get so high that you can rotate safely to like a portfolio in maybe property, maybe stocks, you know. At least you diversify a bit out, because I'm telling you, this battle's going to get nasty, friends. This battle will get nasty. It will get nasty because it's full transparency. They're going to put every trick they've got, every weapon they have, they're going to pull it off. Because Bitcoin it's a public blockchain. It's public transparency. And they're operating in the shadows. I love you all, friends. Until next time.